So today's question is a power of 4. We are given a integer n and we have to return true if it is a power of 4, or we have to return false if it is not a power of false 4. Let's see how we can solve this question. Okay, so they are defining n as like 4 to the power of x, means uh, x can be anything like from 0, 1, 2. X can be a negative value also, -1, -2. And what does negative value says, like 4 to the power of -1 is like 1 raised to 4, and they specifically mentioned as n is a integer number, right? So we don't have to look for that. If it we have to look for that also, it is a hard question, so we don't have to deal with that. If like number is less than or equal to 0, we have to return a false, right? Because the base case, like at the smallest, 4 to the power of 0 is 1, so the values less than 1 are not possible, right? So we can see how we can solve this question, right? So like 4 to the power of 0 is 1, 4 to the power of 1 is 4, 4 to the power of 2 is 4 into 4, right? And 4 to the power of 3 is 4 into 4 into 4, right? The our basic idea is like, you can see, you can observe the type, like if we divide this number by 4, we get this number. Every stage the number is divisible by 4, and at the base 4 to the power of 0 is 1. Otherwise every stage the number is divisible by 4. Okay, this is 4 divisible by 4, this number is also divisible by 4, and when the number becomes 1, we have to simply return 0, because 4 to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, let us see example like 64. 64, if we divisible by 4, we get 16. It is also divisible by 4. If we divide 16 by 4, we get 4. It is also divisible by 4. If we divide 4 by 4, like 4, it is also divisible by 4. 1 and 1 is base case, so we can return true. But what if the number is 40? Yeah, at first it is divisible by 4, and this is like not coincidence, but when we divide 10 by 4, we get like something like 2.5, right? And this is not divisible by 4, so we can simply return false. Okay, this is like kind of recursion. We have to divide number every time by 4 and check if it is divisible by 4 or not. Otherwise, if it is 1, then we can return true. Okay, so let's see the coding part. Okay, so we can make a function solve, right? And this function can return true or false. Okay, number. So if like number was we can return directly here, right? If number was less than or equal to 0, we can return true. Oh, sorry. If number is less than or equal to 0, we can directly return false, right? So now we have to check if in the solve portion, if number is equal to 1, then we have to return true, because 4 to the power of 0 is 1, right? And otherwise we at every stage we have to check if like number mod 4, if it is not equal to 0, right? If it is not equal to 0, means we have to return false. Means if it is not divided by 4, then it not doesn't become the power of 4. Like every time it has to be divided by 4. Okay, and otherwise we can simply return solve function for n divided by 4. Okay, this is like a integer division, right? Simple thing, right? So we uh, return solve for n, right? So what I become is like every time we have to divide the number by 4, and also every time we have to check if it is not divisible by 4, then we can return false, and at the base case we return true. Okay, let's see if it is works or not. Yeah, it is working. Let's submit it. Yeah, it is accepted. Now I will explain you this question with a next approach, like with logarithmic approach. Okay, so let's see. Next approach is log. Okay, so number, like any number, like we can take 64, and if we log this number with the 4, like log 64 divide by log of 4, right? So what this statement returns is like 4 to the power, like, okay, let's see this statement. 4 log 64 base 4. What this statement returns is like 4 to the power of x is 64. Okay, so it will return our x value, and x value is 3, right? So 4 to the power is 6, 3 is 64. Okay, so it will return us a value that put when on the power of 4, it will give the 64. Okay, if it is 6, if it is divisible by 4, then it will give other value. Okay, if it is not divisible by 4, like let's see log of 48, okay, base to the power 4, it will not give us integer value, right? I mean it will give something like 2.5 or something. Okay, but and we if we check like a log of 64, if it will give a 3, and this is like double value, this will return double value, and this is also a double value, this is also a double value. Its integer is 2, its integer is 3. The both the values are same, and here both the values are not same. Means for like log of 48, it will return us like 2.5, right? And it is double value if it is equal to its integer value. Means if we like 4, if it is the power of 4, any number is power of 4, means it will give us like integer value, right? Integer value means its double value and integer value is same, and in this case it is not same. At the case of 41, we will they will return us 3, and 3 is like 0 0 something, like double in double. And if we convert 3 into integer, the both the values are same. Okay, so like if you say what this function does, if you understand this, you can understand anything. This function return this value, this value, and this value has to be become integer. This has to has integer. Okay, so if this value is integer, we just have to return true, otherwise we can return false. Okay, this is how log internally works. So let's see the code path. So let's see. Okay, if like number is less than or equal to 0, we have to return false. This is same. And let's see value is like mat dot log log of n divide by math dot log of 4 if it is equal. Okay, like if the value, if it is equal to is integer value, let's say next value. Okay, this is like integer value of the value. Okay, so if both are the same, return if our value is equal to our next value, like integer value. Okay, this is like a integer value, we can say integer value. Okay, if it is equal, we have to return true. Okay, we let's see if it is works or not. Yeah, it is working. Let's submit it. Let's see it is getting accepted or not. Yeah, it was accepted. And also there is a third approach. You don't need to see that, but if you wanted to see, you can see. Like third approach is kind of easy one. This is like not that intuitive, but like 4 to like 4, whatever the number, like 16, it is like 4 to the power of 2, but the number 16 is divisible by 2, like it is has to power of 2, like 2 to the power of 4 is 16. And when we divide this number by 3, it will remain remainder 1. It is not intuitive solution, but you can say this is like a hint, kind of hint. Like you can say like whatever the number, like if it is power of 4 to the power of 2, right, it is 16. And if you take the power of 2, like 2 into 2, this is like 4, right? This is like 4. So whatever, like 2 to the power of 4 is 16, right? So this is kind of like trick. If the number 16 was divisible, like it is power of 2, and when it's divisible by 3, it will give a remainder of 1. And if you know the bit manipulation technique too, like any number can be power of 2. How? Like let's say 16, if it is power of 2 or not. Like 16 bit manipulation are like 1, and this is like 4, right? This is 16, right? This is 16, and you can say only one, like there are 32 zeros, right? Okay, so this is like in total 32 bits. Like if it is a power of 2 means only one bit from all or the 32 bit become 1, like only one bit is 1, otherwise all the bits are not 1. Okay, if you like and with number like 16, 16 bit manipulation number is this, right? If you and become with this number, you will get the 0, right? And how? And this number is nothing but n minus 1. If you like n and do and with n minus 1, this value has become with has to has 0 means it divisible by 2. This is kind of trick. Okay, this is kind of trick. And also when the number is divisible mod by 3, it has to give remainder of 1. It is kind of it. So let's code it. Done. When like n and n minus 1, right? When it has to be, it is equal to 0, and when mod by 3, it is completely it gives the remainder of 1. So let's see if it is works or not. Yeah, it is working. Let's see. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching today's video. If you like it, subscribe.